With 2024 over, it is time to look toward 2025 and what it has in store for players. This video will be about my hopes and expectations for 2025, whether it be games, trends or companies. Just my general thoughts about the coming year. The big elephant in the room is the Switch 2. The Switch opened a new market for hybrid consoles, or handheld PCs depending on how you see it. And whatever Nintendo does next will be watched and will influence what the competitors are doing. The rumors surrounding it suggest it will have roughly the capacity of a PS4. If this is true, then I expect it to have very robust support in its first year, both in first and third-party games. For anyone hopeful about ports of Xbox PlayStation games for the Switch 2, I would say that cross-gen games are the ones most likely to be ported, especially those released in the last 2 years. Games like Street Fighter VI, Kunitsugami, Visions of Mana, Jedi Survivor, Metaphor. Games that launched in every platform but the Switch have a chance of getting ported to the Switch 2 in my opinion. As for first party, I think Nintendo delayed the release of the console in order to have as many titles lined up as possible. My biggest curiosity right now would be the big launch title to go with the console. The two big suspects would be Metroid Prime and Mario Kart, and there are solid arguments for both of them. But right now, I'm leaning toward Metroid Prime as the big Switch 2 launch title. Between bad and broken releases, Ubisoft had its worst year, and its pains are likely to continue. With the dispute of the Guillemot family and Tencent over control at the top, the company probably won't be able to properly focus on games. Ubisoft made some bad mistakes these last years, but it dying would be worse for the industry. On the other side of the spectrum, Capcom is doing very well for itself, with its Silver Age still going strong. This year they will release Monster Hunter Wilds, which will be a massive financial boost for the company. They don't have much announced for this year yet, besides Monster Hunter and some collections, but they don't really need much more than that right now. Sony is another company that had a great year, and it is likely to continue with the release of Ghost of Yotei and continue support for Astro Bot, maybe even with Intergalactic, but I'm not sure if this last one will release this year. Xbox had a weird year. It started full of promises and ended wondering if it will even have exclusives in the future. Xbox is under heavy pressure from Microsoft to get a return on its investment in the buyout of ActiBliss, which now is forcing them to port its first-party games to PS5 without any counterpart from Sony, effectively making people wonder about what's the point of the Xbox. The silver lining for Xbox is that they are now finally having a good stream of releases. Avowed, South of Midnight, Doomed Dark Ages and The Outer Worlds 2 are giving Xbox owners a lot of games to look forward to. Now for games. Sega has announced the revival of a bunch of their old IPs, but the one I'm most curious about is Shinobi. The brief teaser Sega showed looked very promising. Yacht Club Games is milking Shovel Knight as usual, but have kept quiet about Mina, their next game. It would be great if they released it this year. Going back to Capcom a little bit, it would be great for them to announce a new Mega Man game. It has been too long without a new one. My dream would be a ZX sequel, but I would take anything. Another IP that I really wish it would come back is Final Fantasy Tactics. The Nvidia leaks had an FFT game listed, but nothing came of it. Square Enix sitting on it and doing nothing is torture for me. The Perfect Dark gameplay trailer revealed that it was going to have immersive sim elements, which made me way more interested in it since I have been missing immersive sims, so I'm really looking forward to it. Lastly, I just hope Team Cherry breaks its silence on Silksong. At this point, I am not as excited anymore for it, but if Team Cherry goes another year without talking about it, it will be a clear sign that the game is in serious trouble. Civilization 7 is releasing soon, and I am hyped for it, but Firaxis has not landed the release of Civilization in decades, so I expect Civ 7 to have issues on release. The Outer Worlds 2 is also releasing this year. I really liked the first one, but when Obsidian said that the game was going to be twice the size of the first one, it gave me pause. While I agreed that the first one was a bit short, I always thought that the criticism it got for its length was exaggerated, so I am a bit cautious about it being double the size of the first game. Sometimes more doesn't equal better. Level 5 announced the next installment of the Layton series back in 2023, and it should come out this year. The series has not had a good entry in years, and I want it to be good, but I'm skeptical. My last expectation for the year of 2025 is in regards to Star Wars. Outlaws was a botched release, and Ubisoft has been taking most of the blame, but I expect Disney to be a bit more mindful of the IP to avoid another Outlaws situation, which brings us to Eclipse. This game was announced years ago, and Quantic Dream has reportedly been having issues. Star Wars is already struggling with the TV shows and movies, we don't need it to spread to the games as well. These were my hopes and expectations for 2025. If you want to add your own, leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you around.